Bonjour et bienvenue à notre rendez-vous pour la presse en ligne et en direct sur EBS. Nous sommes aujourd'hui le mardi 20 avril. The weekly meeting of heads of cabinet is still ongoing, and therefore we will share with you the precise agenda of the college and the media arrangements following tomorrow's college meeting later in the day. And now I turn to Johannes for an announcement on supercomputers.
Thank you, Eric, and good afternoon. Indeed, we have good news to share with you today. We are about to launch the first world-class supercomputer in the European Union, together with the European High-Performance Computing Joint Undertaking, EuroHPC. We will inaugurate this afternoon Vega, which is the supercomputer in Slovenia, financed jointly with EU and member state funds. It's 17.2 million euros of investment. For the Commission, Executive Vice President Margrethe Vestager will participate in the virtual launch ceremony. Vega will help develop applications in many high-tech domains, such as machine learning, artificial intelligence, and high-performance data analytics. It will also help European researchers and industry to make advances in bioengineering, weather forecasting, or the fight against climate change. And as always, we have more information for you in the daily news. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now I give the floor to Sonia for an announcement on a new knowledge center that's being launched today.
Bonjour, la Commission lance aujourd'hui un nouveau centre de connaissances sur l'observation de la Terre afin d'optimiser l'utilisation des connaissances issues de l'observation de notre planète, en particulier du programme européen Copernicus, dans l'élaboration des politiques de l'Union européenne. L'objectif ultime du centre est de soutenir la mise en œuvre des priorités politiques de la Commission, en particulier celle du pacte vert et de la stratégie numérique. Il assurera un suivi systématique des besoins et des priorités stratégiques pour les produits et services du Copernicus. Le centre de connaissances vise également à garantir que l'évolution du programme Copernicus et d'autres investissements de la Commission dans le domaine de l'observation de la Terre et de la recherche restent adaptés à la politique de l'Union européenne. Vous pouvez trouver plus de détails dans notre communiqué de presse. Merci.
Merci beaucoup. Ensuite, je tiens encore à vous rappeler qu'une vidéoconférence informelle des ministres des Affaires européennes se tient aujourd'hui de l'autre côté de la rue. Les vice-présidents Maroš Šefčovič et Dubravka Šuica et les commissaires Didier Reynders et Olivier Várhelyi y participent pour le compte de la Commission. Sur l'agenda de la réunion figure une mise au point sur les relations entre l'Union européenne et le Royaume-Uni, une mise au point sur la coordination dans le cadre de la réaction collective face à la pandémie, ainsi qu'un échange sur les bonnes pratiques concernant les évolutions spécifiques de l'état de droit dans 5 États membres. La présidence présentera également l'état d'avancement des travaux dans le domaine de l'élargissement et du processus de stabilisation et d'association, ainsi que les préparatifs en vue du lancement de la conférence sur l'avenir de l'Europe. Une conférence de presse avec le vice-président Šefčovič et le commissaire Reynders aura lieu ce soir vers 18h. Et donc, comme d'habitude, je vous invite à garder vos questions sur les sujets mentionnés pour cette conférence de presse. Avec ceci, nous pouvons passer à vos questions. Griselda.
Merci beaucoup, Eric. Justement, sur l'état des droits et les débats qu'il doit y avoir au Conseil Affaires Générales à ces moments, mais à partir d'une réunion de Mme Jouroba hier avec le ministre espagnol de la Justice, j'aimerais savoir avant tout si ça a été une improvisation, cette réunion, ou si elle était prévue de longue date. Et puis, il y a un texte que vous avez distribué à certains journalistes et un tweet de Mme Jouroba dans lequel il y a une petite différence entre la position de la Commission. Donc, je serais intéressée à savoir exactement si Mme Jouroba considère légal ou pas, la décision du gouvernement espagnol de surgeler certaines fonctions du Conseil général du pouvoir judiciaire en attendant d'avoir une réforme pactée. Parce qu'il y a des positions un peu, je dirais pas contradictoires, mais aussi nuancées. Merci beaucoup.
Merci Griselda. Christian.
OK. Griselda, concernant le débat au Conseil des affaires générales, le commissaire Reinders y participera et il y a une discussion sur un nombre des pays membres concernant la situation d'état de droit sur la base de notre rapport de l'état de droit. Et alors, je voudrais te mettre de suivre la conférence de presse sur ce sujet aujourd'hui, je pense, à 18 heures. Concernant la réunion de Madame Jourova, I mean, to just clarify on the slight confusion that you and maybe some colleagues might have experienced, I'm happy to clarify here. Our general position, already expressed in the 2020 Rule of Law report, is very clear. The Vice President yesterday reminded of it in the talk with the Minister, namely that it is important to address the issue of the Council while ensuring that it is not perceived as vulnerable to politicization. As for the ad interim law, assurances were given by the Minister that the recent reform limiting the powers of the National Council of the Judiciary when it has members in caretaking function reflects the requirements arising from the rule of law principle and checks and balances in Spain. The Vice President reminded that any such reforms should always be accompanied by wide consultations, including with the Venice Commission, and we expect that such consultations will always take place for any future reforms. As for the reform to the system of election of National Council of the Judiciary members, assurances were given from the Minister that no such reform will be taken forward by the government and that efforts will concentrate on reforms leading to the increasing of the efficiency of the judicial system. For the Commission, it is important that the issue of the lack of nominations of the members of the Council for the Judiciary is addressed in line with European standards to ensure that judicial independence is not compromised. We will continue to follow all these issues closely in the context of the Rule of Law report. In fact, and we spoke about it today, the ministers in the General Affairs Council are exactly discussing the rule of law in a number of member states, including on Spain.
Merci beaucoup, Christian. Griselda, je vois que tu as une question de suivi.
Merci beaucoup. Donc, si je comprends bien, disons, la décision du gouvernement espagnol de limiter les pouvoirs du Conseil général est correcte par rapport au rule of law. Est-ce que vous avez répondu donc avec ces contenus à la lettre qui vous a été envoyée par les associations de juges espagnols? Je crois qu'elles étaient 3. Et puis, enfin, j'aimerais savoir, est-ce qu'il y a un délai concret que le gouvernement espagnol est censé de respecter pour cette réforme, pour la réforme générale? Merci.
Je commence par la dernière question. Pour la réforme générale, ici, il y a un délai concret. Non, ce que je dis est qu'il est important que dans cette réforme, les standards européens sont pris en compte. Et ça, c'est la chose importante pour nous. En ce qui concerne la loi ad interim, non, ce n'est pas ce que j'ai dit. J'ai dit en anglais que, alors, for the ad interim law, assurances were given by the minister that the recent reform limiting the powers of the Council when it has members in caretaking function reflects the requirements arising from the rule of law principle and checks and balances in Spain. C'est ça que je dis. C'est un peu plus nuancé peut-être alors, mais c'est ça notre position. Et tu la trouves aussi dans le tweet de la Madame vice-présidente.
Merci beaucoup. Y a-t-il d'autres questions sur ce sujet? Merci de ne garder votre main levée que si c'est sur le sujet de la réforme du Conseil judiciaire espagnol. Please only keep your hand raised if it is on this issue. I see hands raised which usually don't ask questions on this. Salam, you have a question on the reform of the Spanish Judiciary Council. I would be surprised. Okay. All right. So are there other questions for us on this issue today? No. So thank you very much. And we go to Dan. Dan Michaels.
No.
Sometimes this virtual system is very is very entertaining in terms of the background noises that we can hear. Dan, you were on the line, but we seem to have lost you. Try again.
I'm trying to speak.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question about the Harley Davidson tariffs. Can you give any context on Harley Davidson said that their tariffs, which had been, I guess, suspended a while back, are now back in place. This comes as there seems to be efforts to improve the trade situation between the EU and the US. So I'm curious if you can give any context on this.
Yes, okay. This is a question for Dan Ferry. Dan.
Hi, Eric, and hi, Dan. From one Dan to another Dan. I can answer you on the technical side of things when it comes to the rules of origin, but perhaps Miriam wants to come in as well on the wider relationship with the US or other trade-related aspects. On the specific technical aspect of this, we're talking here about what are called binding origin information decisions. And these are decisions that determine the country of origin of a product before they are imported into the European Union. The goal, the aim behind these documents is to provide legal certainty about the origin of a good. And now, in this specific case related to a BOI decision, a binding origin information decision that was authorized by Belgium, this decision was examined by the European Commission, and it proved that the decision was incorrect. We have therefore requested Belgium to revoke this incorrect decision, and the decision itself will only have effect from the date of revocation. It will not be applied retroactively. The reason why it was proven to be incorrect was that there was a change in location of production of the motorbikes in question. So that's all I would have to say on the specific technical aspect of this. This was a decision that was proven to have been incorrect, and we have requested Belgium to revoke that decision. But I don't know whether Miriam wants to come in on the more wider trade-related side of things.
Yeah, anything you want to add? No, you're here. No, she says no. Sorry. So no other points to make on this. All right. Are there other trade-related questions for us today? Frank. Frank, we cannot hear you. There's an issue with your mic source, it seems. Go ahead. No. Try again.
I'm trying again. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. It might also be for Dan, and it's a bit trade-related as well. Regarding the comments of the British Prime Minister Johnson on the Northern Ireland Protocol, which were reported by the BBC today, would the Commission have a comment on these announcements that the British government is thinking about sand brushing, I think was the word, the Island Protocol, and are there any more talks foreseen for the moment regarding the good controls in Northern Ireland? Because last week there was already a meeting, but are there other talks foreseen before the provisional application of the trade and cooperation agreement is coming to an end? Thank you.
Thank you. Dan.
Hi, Frank. Thanks very much for your question. I think it'll come as no surprise to you that I don't have any comment to make on other people's comments. On the state of play of where things stand regarding our contacts with the UK, I would point you to the statement that Vice President Šefčovič published on Friday after his meeting with David Frost. What I can say at this exact moment in time is that we remain in contact at technical level with the UK, but I can't confirm any other specific meetings that may or may not take place over the coming days. But as soon as I do have something to confirm, I'll get in touch with you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions on relations with the United Kingdom for Dan today? No, so I go back to Salam. Salam, you have the floor. We seem to have a technical issue. There you go. Now
Yes,
it works.
actually, because I'm okay. So I have a question regarding foreign affairs, actually, about the GCOPA, the meeting today. Actually, as we know, the two committees, when they were created on the 6th of April, there were a decision that their work, it will be for 15 days. So are we, do you think that we're gonna have a deal or at least a plan of action today, or the work of these two committees will be extended?
Thank you. Peter.
Hi, Salman. Thank you for the question. Since the Joint Commission is having a meeting today in Vienna, I will not be going into speculating about timelines and possible outcomes. The bottom line is that the process continues. The objectives of this process are very clear, and the EU is doing its utmost as a coordinator of the JCPOA to bring this process to a successful conclusion. And this is what we are focused now very, very strongly on.
Thank you. Are there any other questions on foreign affairs related issues for us today? Nawab.
Yes, I have a question on the EU-India summit, which it is to be held on 8th May in Portugal. I'm hearing now that it is going to be held in virtual format and not physical format, as announced earlier, because the Indian Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, cannot attend. Thank you.
Are you asking for confirmation that it will be a virtual summit? If that is the case, I have to say that obviously we have heard the announcement, as you have, of the cancellation of the trip of Prime Minister Modi, and I understand that discussions are underway as to how to nevertheless proceed with the summit, but I think that you will have to wait for more specific details to emerge, in particular from the European Council presidency and from the presidency, sorry, from the rotating presidency of the Council. Apologies, and from the Indian authorities. So watch this space. Any other questions for us today on external affairs? That is not the case. Let us move to other issues then. Laura.
Good morning, everyone. It's Laura Valentini for Total You Production. I have a question on the digital green certificate. In some countries like Belgium or Italy, supermarkets and pharmacies are selling swabs and reagents for COVID self-testing. I wanted to know if the results of this test would be included in the digital green certificate, and if yes, in which way? Thank you.
Thank you. A question for Christian.
Yes. Give me a second to dig this out. So, of course, as you know, tests will be, in general, be one of the options for the digital green certificate. But these tests, of course, it needs to be ensured that these tests are also valid and that you can prove that this test has been taken. And this is why self-tests are not foreseen to be part or to enable you to get a digital green certificate.
If I may add, I think you need to remember that the information has to be stored in the national health systems of the member states, right? So it's not something that you simply buy at the pharmacy, use, and then throw away. There actually has to be an information trace, which is the recognition bit that Christian has referred to. Okay, let's continue on the issue of, let's say, health and vaccines and green certificate in general. Thibault.
This is not about vaccine and health certificate, so I can wait if you want to.
Well, let's see, indeed, because there were some others who had raised their hand. David.
Oui, merci Eric. Une question sur l'Hongrie qui utilise des vaccins qui ne sont pas reconnus par l'EMA. Je voulais savoir si vous êtes préoccupé par la situation épidémiologique du pays, vu que le pays c'est un des meilleurs en termes de vaccination, de nombre de personnes par rapport à la population qui ont été vaccinées. Mais la situation sanitaire est encore assez grave. Je voulais savoir quelle est votre évaluation, si on peut attribuer ça à la moindre efficacité du vaccin chinois Sinopharm qui a été utilisé. Merci.
Stéphane.
Merci beaucoup, David. Tu sais que dans la press room, on ne va pas donner des commentaires sur la manière dont les États membres mettent en œuvre leur stratégie de vaccin. C'est quelque chose qui est suivi collectivement dans le cadre, par exemple, du Health Security Committee, et c'est aussi quelque chose qui est suivi par les collègues du European Center for Disease Prevention and Control. N'oublions pas que les stratégies, le développement des stratégies de vaccination et la mise en œuvre des stratégies de vaccination sont de compétences nationales. Mais encore une fois, c'est quelque chose qui est suivi par le ECDC et par le Health Security Committee entre les États membres. En ce qui concerne l'utilisation de vaccins qui ne font pas partie de notre portfolio, de notre portefeuille, tu connais notre point de vue, je pense, David. Les États membres ont le droit d'utiliser des vaccins qui ne font pas partie de notre stratégie. Ce qui est important pour nous, pour les vaccins qui font partie de notre portefeuille, c'est qu'ils sont évidemment vérifiés, que leur efficacité et leur sûreté est vérifiée par l'EMA. Merci.
Merci. David, une question de suivi.
Oui, très rapidement. Mais est-ce qu'il n'y a pas un risque, à un certain moment, si les vaccins ne sont pas suffisamment efficaces, de créer des problèmes sanitaires au niveau de l'Union européenne, hein, des variantes et tout ça? Si quelqu'un dit ma population est vaccinée, mais à la fin, il n'y a pas d'efficacité des vaccins qui ont été utilisés, vu qu'on est dans l'Union européenne avec, en théorie, la liberté de circulation, etc., il n'y a pas un problème sanitaire qui risque de se poser.
David, je crois que tu connais aussi bien la réponse à cette question que nous. Nous avons mis en place une stratégie d'achat de vaccins en accord avec l'ensemble des États membres qui se base sur le fait que ces vaccins devront d'abord être analyser et obtenir une recommandation positive de la part de l'Agence européenne du médicament afin d'avoir des garanties sur leur efficacité et leur sûreté. Bien entendu, les États membres ont la possibilité, selon la procédure d'urgence, d'utiliser d'autres vaccins. Ils le font, comme tu le sais, sous leur propre responsabilité. Et dans le cadre de notre proposition sur le certificat vert numérique, il est bien dit que les seuls vaccins qui sont automatiquement reconnus sont ceux qui ont obtenu cet aval de la part de l'Agence européenne du médicament. Je crois que tout le monde reconnaît le fait que nous sommes encore dans une phase où il est très important de suivre précisément l'impact réel de la vaccination sur l'état sanitaire des populations, sur la diminution du risque de transmission. Et ce sont effectivement des choses qui, comme Stéphane vient de le dire, sont suivies de près par les États membres dans le cadre du comité sur la santé qu'il a mentionné et par ECDC. Donc bien entendu, ce sont des choses qui font l'objet d'une attention particulière de l'ensemble des autorités responsables. Lorenzo. Sur les vaccins, Lorenzo, as-tu une question?
Vous m'entendez là?
Oui, ça va.
Oui. C'est par rapport au vaccinal. Pardon, excusez-moi. Le certificat vert. Le certificat vert. Je voulais savoir s'il y a des négociations en cours ou prévues avec le Royaume-Uni en particulier ou d'autres pays voisins pour que le certificat vert puisse être utilisé avec eux aussi. En particulier avec le Royaume-Uni, parce qu'on a encore beaucoup de relations avec eux aussi pour les relations économiques, etc. Et donc ça, c'est la première question. L'autre question concerne un peu ce que David vient de dire. Hier, il y a eu un reportage très intéressant sur la télévision italienne concernant le Brésil. Et en fait, c'était une des questions qui est posée. En Brésil, il y a eu deux conditions qui ont apparemment vraiment, ce sont des facteurs importants pour l'apparition de la variante brésilienne, qui est très dangereuse parce qu'apparemment elle est beaucoup plus dangereuse que la variante britannique. Et les deux conditions sont justement qu'il y avait un vaccin pas très efficace, le vaccin chinois, qui avait été utilisé, et l'autre était que le Brésil ne fait pas de social distancing. Et donc, je me demande si ce ne sont pas deux choses qui devaient être considérées aussi pour l'Europe. Merci.
Lorenzo, sur ta deuxième question, je crois que nous avons répété ici à de très 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 nombreuses reprises qu'il fallait que les États membres se concertent pour prendre les mesures adéquates afin d'assurer le contrôle de l'épidémie, que la vaccination, en tout cas, n'était pas une réponse instantanée, immédiate, qu'il fallait tenir compte de beaucoup de facteurs en même temps. Et donc je crois qu'effectivement, nous sommes dans une situation intermédiaire maintenant où les efforts de vaccination s'accélèrent, les campagnes de vaccination s'accélèrent, mais ce n'est pas pour autant qu'il faut baisser la garde. Il est important que la population européenne continue à respecter les mesures sanitaires recommandées par les États membres, afin de s'assurer que nous puissions avoir un bon impact de cette campagne de vaccination, et en même temps que nous continuions à travailler sur la réponse à l'apparition et la propagation éventuelle de variants qui pourraient poser problème, variants of concern comme on le dit. C'est le travail que fait HERA Incubator, comme tu sais. C'est ce qui nous a mené, c'est une des raisons qui nous a mené à entamer des négociations sur un nouveau contrat d'achat de vaccins de 1,8 milliard de doses. Donc, personne ici n'a dit que l'administration, enfin la distribution de vaccins à la population européenne allait instantanément résoudre le problème. Il faut que nous ayons une politique qui se base sur différents piliers, qui envisage les évolutions éventuelles, et c'est exactement ce que nous sommes en train de faire. En ce qui concerne ta première question sur d'éventuelles négociations avec le Royaume-Uni concernant le certificat, je passe la parole à Christian.
Merci Eric. Alors Lorenzo, pardon, mon iPhone. Comme nous avons déjà prévu dans notre proposition, la régulation sur les Digital Green Certificates, il y a une possibilité pour les États tiers de recevoir une adequacy decision, une décision d'adéquation. Et pour nous, c'est bien sûr important de travailler avec les autres pays, le moment venu, pour les systèmes qui sont alors en compatibilité avec notre système. Nous avons reçu, vu beaucoup d'intérêt des autres pays, et il y a un nombre de pays tiers qui ont pris contact avec la Commission sur ces sujets et qui sont intéressés à une solution comme ça, mais pour le moment, je sais qu'on est encore notre priorité, bien sûr, et d'assurer que ça fonctionne à l'intérieur de l'Union européenne. Je peux quand même dire qu'il y a déjà les contacts avec les États-Unis sur ce sujet. Nous sommes en contact avec les États-Unis concernant le Digital Green Certificate, inclut les questions de cohérence et de compatibilité. Là, les services de la Commission ont eu les premières discussions techniques avec les États-Unis, et aussi le commissaire Reinders va avoir un appel avec le US Secretary for Homeland Security, Mr. Alejandro Mayorkas, le 21 avril, où ce sujet va être adressé. Alors, c'est ça que je peux dire pour le moment.
Voilà, donc nous sommes passés du Royaume-Uni aux États-Unis. On me dit que je me serais peut-être trompé dans le chiffre que j'ai annoncé. Je voulais donc bien dire que le contrat que nous étions en train de négocier portait sur 1,8 milliard de doses. So, other questions on vaccines and vaccination, please only keep your hand raised if it is on this. Louise, I believe your question is on something else, so I will not take your question for the moment, but I've noted it. Tommaso.
Yes, good morning. Tommaso Gallavotti, Edian Kronos, thank you for the floor. It's just a question about vaccines, because I've read on Politico and on the Belgian magazine Knack, or Knack, I don't know the exact pronunciation, that AstraZeneca delivered the doses which they was able to deliver to the EU mainly because the drug substance was exported from the US to the EU from a manufacturing site in the US. And this would be one of the reasons for which, the tones towards the US have been always milder than those used vis-à-vis the UK. May you confirm this, this report, because it's also substantiated by internal documents obtained by the magazine Knack? Thank you.
Thank you, Tommaso. As you know, we never comment on this sort of thing. Let me stress once again, whatever the reason, the fact is that we have signed advanced purchasing agreement with companies based on their ability to deliver the doses to us. So clearly, we continue to be working on ensuring that we have sufficient number of doses of vaccines to reach our objective of 70% of adults vaccinated by the end of the summer. But I'm not going to comment on the reasons that are given as to the specific difficulties encountered by one or the other company. You have a follow-up? Sorry, I'm not quite sure. Lorenzo, you have a question on this?
Okay. Yeah, no, I have a follow-up concerning my question for Christian. Christian said that there are already with a number of third countries. My question is the UK among these countries? Has the UK shown any interest for this, or are you in contact with UK specifically? Thanks.
So we are not, what I tried to explain is that we are not in contact with any country specifically apart from the US at the moment, where there have been technical discussions, and where tomorrow there will be a call with the US Department's Minister of Homeland Security, which might also address this issue. And otherwise, we just had general expressions of interest from quite a number of third countries.
Thank you. Tommaso.
Yes, hi, hello. Sorry if I don't switch on the camera today. My connection is pretty weak. Still on vaccines, I was wondering, did you hear back from Johnson & Johnson in the last days following the stop to the deliveries? And in the case the EMA gives this afternoon its green light to the shot, when do you expect to receive the deliveries which were due to the past weeks? Thank you.
Stefan.
Thank you very much, Tommaso. As is the case with all the companies, we are of course in contact with all the companies that are producing vaccines which are part of our vaccine portfolio, including Johnson & Johnson. These contacts are ongoing. As far as the that we wait for the opinion of EMA, and then we will see which steps to follow. As you know, the Commission has always stressed the importance of following a scientific approach here, following the approach and the recommendations of EMA, which is, as I've said several times, checking the effectiveness and the safety of the vaccine. Thank you.
So, Tommaso, the answer is step by step. Let's first wait for the assessment by EMA before going any further. Okay, I see no further questions on vaccines, and therefore I go back to Rafaela, who had her hand raised quite some time ago. Rafaela, du bist dran. But you need to have the right mic source.
Ich hoffe, es funktioniert.
Jawohl.
Ja, Thank you, Eric. Danke, Eric. My question concerns an antitrust case. The Commission fined 3 EU railway companies, 48 million euro, for customer allocation cartel, among those the Austrian ÖBB. So may I ask for some details, for some background information concerning the fines, and especially why will Austria pay nothing, whereas the German Deutsche Bahn will pay almost the whole 48 million euro? Thank you.
Thank you. So this opens our competition chapter, and we go to Ariana.
Hi, good morning. I hope you can hear me and see me. So indeed, today we have adopted a decision finding a total of 48 million for 3 railway companies, including OBB, Deutsche Bahn, and SNCB, for breaching EU antitrust rules. We have taken this decision because the companies have participated in a customer allocation cartel, which concerned cross-border rail cargo transport services on block trains on key rail corridors in the EU. Concerning your question on the OBB fine, well, OBB has received full immunity in line with the 2006 leniency notice, and therefore it has avoided an aggregate fine of about 37 million euros. Both Deutsche Bahn and SNCB have benefited from a reduction of the fine since they have cooperated with the Commission during the investigation, and we have also applied a 10% reduction of the fine in line with the 2008 settlement notice. If you have further questions either now or later, I'm of course available to answer them more specifically.
Thank you. Thibault, you had a question on competition, perhaps even on the same case. Go ahead.
Unfortunately, it's a different question. This morning, the UK Competition Authority, the ACCC, the Australian Competition Authority, and the German Bundeskartellamt published a statement saying that they would not use behavioral remedies to solve complicated mergers, and that they would opt for blocks or structural remedies instead, because they say it's the best way to preserve the level playing field. So my first question about this announcement is, did these competition authorities contact you to join their call for tougher merger policy? And if yes, what was your reaction? My second question is, do you share their philosophy? And the third question is, in light of the recent practice of the European Commission, and I'm thinking Google Fitbit and LSE Refinitiv as examples, to solve complicated mergers, you opted more, you use behavioral remedies rather than blocks or structural remedies. How do you explain this, this difference in philosophy?
Ariana.
Hi, Thibault. So I will try to answer all questions together. Then if I leave anything behind, of course, I'm happy to come back. So indeed, we take note of the joint statement by the German Bundeskartellamt, by the UK CMA, and by the Australian ACCC. Competitive markets are key to fast economic recovery, as the EVP Vestager, Executive Vice President Vestager, has stressed repeatedly. Preserving alternatives, fostering innovation, and ensuring a good deal for consumers and businesses are all the more important during crisis times and economic recovery. We, the Commission, remains committed to strong merger enforcement at all times and to the rigorous standards of EU merger control. To answer also to your third question, EU merger control has a traditional preference for structural remedies. This is to say divestitures reflected in the remedies notice and the Commission's case practice. Where competition concerns are identified, remedies need to address the competition concerns in an effective and proportionate manner. In our practice, behavioral remedies or even access remedies are more often used in vertical or conglomerate mergers because they're typically better suited to such cases. However, each case needs to be assessed on its own merits. More specifically on your second question, what I can say is that we have been in touch with the CMA and with the Bundeskartellamt about this joint initiative. There are several recent examples of cooperation by competition agencies through multilateral fora, such as the ECN or the ICN, so the European Competition Network or the International Competition Network. Examples are the joint statements by the ECN on the application of competition law during the crisis and the ICN steering group statement on competition during and after the COVID-19 pandemic. I hope I have touched upon all points.
Thank you very much, Ariana, for this. I do not see any other competition-related questions, so I go to Louise.
Hello, and thank you for the floor. I had connection problems today, so I apologize if you announced this already. It's just that there's a lot on the Commission agenda tomorrow. There's both the taxonomy, non-financial reporting directive, and the AI follow-up. So I was just wondering, do you intend to announce all this tomorrow, or will some of it be pushed until Thursday, Friday? Thanks.
Louise, you certainly missed the beginning of the midday briefing and my announcements, because I specifically said, in fact, that the weekly meeting of the heads of cabinet is still ongoing, and therefore I have not confirmed the agenda for tomorrow's college meeting. We will do so once the HEBDO meeting is finalized, and of course, also then the media arrangements. So you will have to bear with us a little longer. Okay, thank you. Are there other questions for us today? That does not seem to be the case, and therefore I thank you very much for your participation, and we will see you tomorrow for the college readout, the subject of which we will confirm later. Thank you.